Are they based on real people? Are any of them based on real people? And if so, who?
What did I do?
Well, I mean, they're.
I'm pretty much Frog.
Neff is Neff.
Yeah.
That is Neff. Neff is Neff. House is, yeah, almost there. Serge, spot on. Sergio is Sergio.
Shit that comes in my mouth.
Will is Will. Or
Yeah,
Ernest
the rookie is
Rookie
Ernest.
is Ernest.
Yeah. Kai, Fish was Fish.
Ernest would be more of a drunk rookie.
Yeah. But I think the rookie was kind of drunk. But yeah, I mean, as for Admiral Price, I know it was.
Jeez. Brett and I used to watch a lot of Monty Python as kids. And
We would have never guessed.
I know. Hard to believe, hard to understand. And for those of you who don't know, rent it. And there was always the character that would pop up, the British colonel who was always like, it's too silly, too damn silly, stop this immediately, it's too silly, And he always cracked me up. I don't know why he was so good. He was funny. And then stories I used to hear about, relatives of mine who were British, and the way they are the masters of the understatement. And there's story upon story I could tell about the British being the masters of understatement. The one story in particular was about this British fighter pilot who, during the Battle of Britain, which is 1940, the Germans are attacking, gets his plane all shot to pieces and just barely makes it up over the cliffs and slams into this golf course. And the plane's on fire, and everyone's running over to him, and the canopy pops open, and he pops up out of the cockpit of this burning airplane. Leather jacket, takes his scarf and goes swish over his shoulder, reaches back into this burning airplane, which he's standing in, picks up his swagger stick, steps out, and then goes striding over to where the amazing golfers are just looking at him. As he was walking, he says, "Terribly sorry about the green, old man. Had a bit of problem with the jerrys, you see. Ha ha! How goes the war and all?" And they're like, "Who is this guy?" And he was one of the wing commanders of one of his RAF squadrons. And he basically went back to the golf course, made a phone call. They went and got him. He was in a plane that afternoon and back fighting the Germans again. And if you were to ask him how it went, how that battle went, he says, "Oh, they shot my kite up a bit. I'm having a bit of a problem with the Germans, you see." Almost died and totally nonplussed about it. That kind of just mentality. And Admiral Price came to be. I didn't know his name was going to be Admiral Price. He was always the British guy. And then until one day I hear his name is Admiral Price. I was like, oh, that's original. Thanks.
Cry havoc! Let's snip the dogs a hood! I hate when that happens.
Admiral Price is down. Send him a recovery ship.
I don't even think I was going to be Frog. I think he just asked me if I could do a French voice.
Mm-hmm.
You just had these characters lined up, and you said, "Can you do a French voice?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Let's find out.
I'm running for president in 2008. And this is my first campaign speech. It's about the poverty. We here at Frog 08 headquarters have an anti-poverty stance. Someone is poor? Fuck them. Let them get a job, man.
I want to make this. Can you do a German voice? He's like, yeah. And I just did his German voice. And it turns out he's a madman Nazi who's totally ruined my political aspirations, by the way.
Fliegen hier und zurück und in hin zurückgehen. Wenn der Ausgesetzt gekommen sind, dann können wir durch losgehen. Ja, wenn ich so ausgesagt, wenn jetzt andere Schiffe auch da drüber. Wenn wir fliegen und ausgesandt, dann können wir alles mit seinem Gut zurückgehen und so etwas zu essen haben, ja? Ja. Thusly the Jews dislike ovens.
How do the characters survive decapitation, blowing up, fried by lasers, heads blown off? Aren't they dead?
They have
feel that we already watched
They
this.
haven't watched the special episode.
Watch the special episode, it'll all be explained. And if it's not explained, we simply can't help you.
Rewatch it.
Watch it again.
Slower.
Watch it again until such
Frame
time.
by frame.
Watch it again until such time as it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, seek medical attention.
Have another bottle of tequila and carry on.
Or learn English.
Or English. English is very helpful.
General Mayhem, how did you get your start commanding naval forces in the pilot? And they spelled it N-A-V-E-L, so you have forces in your naval?
Wow.
Depends on if you don't pick up it.
You're not allowed to poke it.
Really? You're not?
All I hear is,
Try. Watch him slap you.
Well, that was.
Well,
I think something.
there actually is a precedence to that. It's Dwight D. Eisenhower, who was the supreme commander of all Allied forces in the European theater.
As a general.
That is to include, as a general, as a 5-star general. That is to include, right? Air Force, what at the time was Army Air Corps,
In charge of all the forces.
Naval Forces, and Marines. The
Okay.
same thing. With
Now, who's taking Lego Universe too serious?
I'm just saying.
In the Lego universe, generals are.
Well, I do call Jeff some. I think I even
There's been
called
5
you.
generals
Said
in
how
there.
can I asked you about the status of
Yeah.
captains. Who is
Yeah, he was actually talking about captains.
What's
And
the
a captain,
commander and captain?
what's the difference between a commander and a captain? It's just a question of time and service and pay rate. But I mean, if you want to get specific, I mean, you could just say,
A lieutenant commander is the same as a captain in the army.
oh, well, the lieutenant commander is the same thing as a major, and then lieutenant is the
That's
same
right,
as a
that's
captain.
right, lieutenant.
And we can do that crazy stuff if you want to. But there's 2 things you could say. First of all, you could say because it's War Dawgz and that's how they run. That's how they roll. Or you could say, well, there's precedence with General Eisenhower in European theater of operations, General MacArthur in the Pacific theater of operations, a 4-star general who was in charge of all naval forces, all air forces, all marine forces in the theater of operations. So just because he's a general doesn't mean he can't be in charge of a naval force.
Princess, why is it you were guarding an Alliance outpost when the fact is you were first guarding the Delonian capital?
That's not true. Because she wasn't. She was an alliance fighter who happened to be on the
Landed
Delonian.
on Delone.
I don't even know what the fuck I was
Princess
doing.
landed.
Shit.
Princess landed on
Princess
Delone
was one of the
to attack.
Yeah, because Ross was one of the guys that jumped out of the ship. They just were chilling out while the rest of the battle was going on. They weren't guarding. Because the Delonian was the one that shot at her to get her to shut up.
Yeah.
Test, and they said that I was really, really smart. So they made me like this ground troop, which is apparently like a really, really important job, Which means that like you must have scored pretty high too. Although like I'm pretty sure it's not as high as me because they said that I did really, really well. So it's gonna be like our job to go out and like scout and stuff, which they really, really need, And so I was thinking I'm only gonna do this for like a week or 2 just to make my mom happy, and then I was gonna go back home, and then I was gonna mess around with my boyfriend again. I really miss him. He's been writing me like every single day, which is really funny because I swear he doesn't know how to write. Like he spelled R as in like O-U-R when everybody knows that it's R, like just the letter R. I mean, there's
Thanks. There you go. Sometimes I just get my lines and that's it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Most people don't. I mean, they don't even get the whole lines. They don't know what's being said before or after, especially the first season.
We just get our lines.
Like, say this, say that. Okay, now say this. Like, what am I talking to? I don't know yet. Just say it.
I can tell you how many times I'll come down to San Antonio just to kind of hang out, and Brett's like, "Oh, while you're here," and I'm like, "Okay," and I get like 6 or 7 lines. He said, and he'll say it like this. Okay, okay, I'll say this. Okay, now talk about Paris Hilton. All right, in German. Oh, okay. In German. Okay. And that's honestly what I get. And so I'm as surprised as everybody else when it's up on the screen. I'm like, that's funny! God damn, I'm hilarious,
Der Schatten des Dachens, Reuben James, hatte die Katze von LA County Sheriff Chewbacca gestohlen haben. Er sagte, dass die Katze würden tot sein, ob Paris Hilton, die große Twartmeisterin, das sexuelle Krankheiterin der Spazieren, nicht freigeben würden. Der Rest sagt natürlich, dass sie mussten zurück zu der LA County Gefängnis gehen und alle ihren Zeit würden die machen. Der Schatten des Drachens hat keine Tachigkeit gegen das Rechte, ob keine Hunde oder Katze haben.
Admiral, I believe it's Sheriff Lee Baca, not Sheriff Chewbacca.
Lee Baca, Chewbacca. Einer hatte Haare, die anderen hat keine Haare.